Dap, dap, da, 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 da. Hello, everybody. My name is RODGON. Today we will be drawing. Let's see. What should we draw today? As you guys are joining the chat, let me move the light out of the way. As you guys are joining the chat, as always, I like to go over what we went over last stream. And our last stream was this morning. So this morning we talked a little bit about anatomy. We talked a little bit about how the body is structured, and we talked about arms. We have this on YouTube now. So if you guys want to go check it out, it is on YouTube. So as we start tonight, let me put my glove on. I would like to say hello to all of you. And I would like all of you to ask questions along the night. Whenever I catch a question that is interesting, I will be more than happy to answer that. I do need your guys' help in order for the stream to go along nicely. The more you guys ask, the easier it is for me to answer questions. So tonight, we will start with a fresh page. And I will wait for everyone to answer questions while I start off by drawing something silly. Let's draw a panda. I like drawing pandas. And I am in the middle of drawing assets for my next 21 draw course, which will be how to draw cute, adorable animals. So, I am really looking forward to making an amazing course that will teach you guys how to create mascots and cartoon characters and how to create awesome little critters to like be sidekicks for your, for your characters, or maybe you want to make like some cool pins or whatever. Maybe your ambitions aren't super big and you just want to create something really cute. And you will have that course available to you through 21 Draw. And if you guys knew how valuable it is to have that skill set of being able to just draw cute characters is so immensely marketable. So, I highly suggest that when I finish it, you guys check it out. Plus, it's going to help me because then it makes me a more valuable teacher. And with more credentials. And with more credentials comes the ability to ask for loans. And maybe with loans comes starting my own school. Yeah. So, wouldn't that be cool? The RODGON Academy for art students who want to do art really good and other art stuff related things. I love Zoolander. Zoolander is one of my favorite. Let's see. Where's my pink? Where's my pink highlighter? Where are you? Why are you hiding? Okay. Pink highlighter. Yay. Let's add some little background elements really quickly with some grass with the highlighter. And then maybe some bamboo shoots. So, a few people always ask me, why do I draw with highlighter? Why do I spend the time and draw with this when I have access to like super expensive art materials? And I do. I have access to pretty much any art material that I want. I am lucky enough that if I ask for it, people tend to give it to me now. And I still mostly prefer drawing with inexpensive materials such as highlighters and ballpoint pens. Like nothing in the world beats drawing with these two elements for me. I don't know why. I really don't. It's not because of the materials are like amazing. They're not like surpassing anything else. Like I could probably get like richer colors with Copics, and I could probably get like cleaner lines with like a super awesome mechanical pencil or like another like super fine tip pen. But there's just something about drawing um with pen and it having it like be a little messy, you know? Like there's just something to that that makes it like super nice. Let's draw some animals today. I feel like drawing animals. And it's gonna help me because I'm just gonna get me in the mood to draw my assets for that stuff next week. So yeah, I think that's gonna be the case. I'm just gonna draw animal after animal after animal. Let's see, something with a beak. It was gonna be a duck, but now it looks a little bit weird to be a duck. So now it's going to be something else. We'll make it its own thing. It'll be a panda bird. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be a panda bird with feathers that look like panda ears and feathers that look like panda ears. Yeah. Oh, a panda puss. It could be a platypus with the panda stripes. Oh man, I think we just came up with like the cutest animal in the world. Holy moly. A panda puss is going to be adorable. Yep, a panda puss with his little tail. Gonna have like the little beaver stripes. So it's like a checkerboard pattern. And it has depth, so I'm just gonna shade one of the sides. So it looks like it has a little bit more depth. Then he's gonna have little ducky feet because that's a really cute factor in platypuses. So little ducky feet with little webbing. Little ducky feet. And since he's gonna be a panda puss, he needs to have like little panda claws. So let's make his little, you know, arms like little panda ones. So they're gonna be furry. And I'm gonna have like little paws. Wow. Okay. And then his stripes have to follow those of the panda. So it's gonna be dark arms and darker legs, with the middle part being a little bit white. And he's gonna be looking at us. Oh, you panda puss. That is the most adorable thing I have drawn in a while. Um, it combines my two favorite animals, the panda and the platypus. And then let's see, let's draw him underwater. And that for this guy. So we'll draw some seaweed floating in there. We'll draw some depth, so we'll draw some rocks, some coral. But we'll have some sand, so sand mounds and like little tiny mounds, and it has texture. So I'm drawing really, really little tiny mounds, and that's gonna represent sand. Then we can draw like a little crab. Little tiny elements that are going to like give this the feeling of being underwater. Okay. Little fishies. Little swirls in the water. And maybe we can draw even like the bottom of a boat coming from the bottom. Because if this is the bottom plane, we can start mapping out a shape and perspective by focusing on our horizon line and then just drawing a simple shape and then drawing our boat from that. The little propellers and everything. Maybe like a fishing hook going into the water. The shadows in the things above would be a little bit blurry. And this would have a little bit of depth. Some fishies around the worm. And that's little by little, you can start building entire environments like that. Like, you don't have to put that much thought or that much detail into them at first. All you gotta do is just come up with a few elements and then just add and have fun and add and have fun and add. And then when you're, tired of that drawing, then just move on to the next drawing. Let's add some light rays coming in. Should we add some color to this? If I can find my watercolors quickly, I will. If I don't, I won't. There they are. I think you guys are in luck. Now, let me see if I have my pen with water. Actually, I'm going to go get some water. Don't leave, or you'll miss out on the watercolor experience. I am coming back. I'm on my way. Okay, I have gotten water. I have a brush. Okay, random brush. Let's play with some watercolors. So, let's see. What color should we play with this guy? So I got this little kit at Walmart. My friend got them for me. And he got it for me as a gift. And I was like, what? Because it was like, I told him that I wanted to do like traveling and like coloring and painting and stuff like that. And he literally just bought that for me on a whim. I don't really get many gifts. So him doing that was like insanely like nice. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. I'm like super grateful to anybody that ever does anything nice for me. Okay, so let's see. That's a lot of color for that area that we put. So I'm going to try to spread it out by putting water and then just smearing it all over the place. I'm going to make it so that the water gets lighter as I go up, taking advantage that I already put a lot of blue in the bottom. I can just kind of spread it out a little bit by just dragging it out. Taking into consideration those lines that I drew for rays, now I can start adding a tiny bit of color coming in just from those sections, just to create the illusion of light. Let's just cover everything. Everything in blue. It'd be underwater, so I think most of it would be tints of blue anyways. So let's just get all our environmental color in. And that's just getting a lot of blue and creating the little light sources. Okay, the next step would be to create... It's not a recording, dude. I just don't pay attention because I'm actually painting. What is it about people that feel so entitled to think that I have to pay attention to every comment that they post? I'm trying to teach a lesson. So why would I take the time and like distract myself from what I'm talking about to answer your question? I normally take questions and answers whenever I am not focused on teaching something. So be patient. If I don't listen to your comment, be patient. Okay? All right? Do you agree with me? Okay. All right. Now that we are in the same plan, let's continue on. I'm going to start adding darker tones of that blue to the areas that would be darker on the character. I go about one tone at a time so that I don't end up muddying it up too much too quickly. So the first thing that I need to do is create contrast within my piece with my first colors. So anything that is too white next to each other requires a little bit of a shadow or it requires a color change. Okay? So right here we have white on white or bluish on bluish. So we got to add a little bit of contrasting color. From here to here, we're going to add another contrasting color. Mostly because the tail is supposed to be dark. So it's probably going to be darker than any other tone in there. So we can just start grabbing a darker tone anyways. And now in order to make that tail look not so dark, we just darken everything else. And that dark blue suddenly is going to start looking a lot less dark because the background is taking over with a darker color. Okay. And the more contrast you add, if I start adding a little bit, for example, black in here, then that blue really starts looking a lot lighter. This went from being the darkest blue in the whole scene to not being all that dark compared to the other colors around it. So you would think that this blue is about the same color as this one, but in reality, it's about the same color as this. Do I sell any of my art? And if you do, can you tell me how I can? I do. I just today started putting up little pieces of art for bidding. So if you are actually interested in getting an original piece of artwork from me that you can display and everything that's already going to be framed and absolutely gorgeous in your little dining table or whatever, you can go over to my Instagram and keep notice of what pieces of art I'm going to be posting every day. So I'll be posting different little original pieces, and they're going to be up for bids for 24 hours. And it seems like the first ones are going to go for about $30-$40. So there'll be nice framed pieces of artwork shipped for $30-$40, if you get lucky. Or even less, because I just start the bidding at $20. So you guys can possibly get a nice little cool piece of art for $20. And all proceeds go to helping RODGON get cool equipment and pay for his rent. So all proceeds have a very generous donation. Every time you guys buy something from me, like a digital ebook, or you guys subscribe to my Patreon just to support, hey, that helps me. So, but I'm not a person that normally asks for that stuff. So I normally just don't bring it up. I don't like people thinking that they have to pay money to learn. That is the biggest issue with me, and I hate gatekeeping information. So I will leave it to the generous people who want support. They can support, and who can't, don't worry. I got your back anyways. Because that's the top person that I am. Alright, so let's call Mr. Platypus done. Let's put some white in there. to lighten up the colors wherever I went over it. Give it a little highlight. Oh, little. Oh, the panda pose is so cute. Let's add some bubbles. And some highlights. All right, there you go. Panda pose. Okay, what other animals should we draw? How about we draw something with 4 legs and like a rhino or something like that. And we'll give it a top hat, a small top hat. So whatever animal we draw next, we'll have a top hat. Let's draw something in this shape. Wow. I'm seeing an elephant. Okay, so I'm seeing a trunk. I'm seeing some ears, maybe. Okay, maybe some tusks. Then from here you'd have the face coming down this way, and then you'd have big feet. That's 1 foot. The other foot. How do elephants' feet go like this? They go like that. They go like kind of like horses, and then they have a big booty into a little tail. Okay, they have normally droppy belly at the bottom of the back, and they have like this big, like cute, like toesies. Like they look so cute. Like their toes are always adorable. Like I want slippers that look like elephant feet and rhino feet. They're so like big and like bulky. Okay, we're going to draw the back foot because if this foot is right here and the stomach isn't touching the ground, you would have the other leg on this other side, so you would see the other leg. And we make it a little darker so that it looks like it's going in the back. Now we got to figure out what would you be doing with the front leg. So the other front leg would be around here, but I'm going to have the tusks and the snout be all the way to the ground so you wouldn't really see the other side. For that, I'm going to add some grass to ground my character. I'm going to add a little bit of a shadow, a little bit of texture to add a little bit of ground elements to make it look like he is on something. That is a very important element in my art. I really always emphasize on making my characters look like they have weight. In some way or another, it looks like that character is touching a ground. So even when I don't add shadows, let's see if we can find some other characters. Example, this guy, it looks like he's leaning on his like arm. This guy, let me make sure I don't spill water again like I have all day. You know, he's on a ground surface. Even when I'm just drawing random body parts, I try to do that. You know, like it's really a big like component in like making sure that characters look grounded. So, you know, make sure that you actually like make your characters on something. A cheetah. We will try a cheetah. I'm not exactly sure I know how to draw a cheetah, but we will definitely try. And it'll be funny regardless. Like either we get it right or we get it really wrong. So it'll be fun anyways. The inside of the elephant tusk, the elephant trunk is kind of like ridged. It has a little ridged pattern and it goes into the nostril of the elephant that's going around him. This has roundness. I'm thinking of this as like a tube in the front of his head. Okay? I'm not thinking of this as lines. I'm thinking of these as shapes. This has roundness, and it's on top of the other part. The tusk, this has roundness. right? This is a 3D element overlapping over another 3D element over another 3D element. So that's how you start learning depth within your art. Okay, that's how you start realizing that ears have depth. You know, they have a perspective. It looks like a potato chip, but it's fairly long. Okay, I might just be drawing a little line here when I'm drawing the actual ear, but when I'm drawing it, I'm thinking that it's actually going around. Okay, that is the reason that characters that I draw tend to look a little bit more voluminous. It looks like a character has a little bit more depth because whenever I'm drawing, I'm focusing on that. I'm not focusing necessarily on a style. I'm focusing on creating a character that looks grounded, a character that looks like it's solid, that could actually function, that could move, that could be, like have a life of its own. If you can start visualizing your characters like this, you can always model them in 3D. You could get little sculptures of them made. You could make toys. You could make anything. With a 3D printer and the ability to see things like this, 3D modeling is going to be insanely easy for you. Okay? If you took this and you understood how the surfaces get subdivided, this in 3D modeling would be insanely easy for you because you just start sculpting it. Because you know how things are molded. We know that the front of the elephant forehead is really big and round, so we're going to keep that element of them. Okay, the forehead goes around the head, around. So I know that my forehead is going to be around there. It seems like this would be a nice place for the snout to still be going. And then that means that my skull has to be within this area. Now, the skeletal system for an elephant is incredibly weird. So I don't know exactly how the actual eyes and everything fall. So I'm just going to base it off my normal human anatomy, and I'm going to make a small one side of the mask, because the mask would be too big to be on both sides for an elephant, but we can draw where the eye socket would be. And then you can draw the eye sunken into the eye socket or not sunken into the eye socket, depending on how old you want your elephant to be. In this case, maybe I want to make a really old elephant. So I'm going to put my eyeball inside of my eye socket, which gives me my eyebrow line. It gives me the bottom and lower eyelids by just going around my eyeball. And then that sunken in shape that we did will provide me with all the aging lines that I need to create the character looking the age that I want. If I want them to look really old, I just start adding shadows inside of that eye socket shape. And you can start adding a lot of age really quickly without doing much more than just tracing an eye socket line, your eyeball, and following the shapes that makes. Okay? And then when it comes down to adding detail to your art or to your drawings, in this case, let's do you even want to give him an eyeball? I think he looks really cool like that. I don't think I want to give him an eyeball, but I'm going to give him details. I'm going to give him scars. I'm just going to follow the sides of my shapes. I'm going around the eyeball and around the top part of the eye bridge, which is a shape that has dimensions. So I'm going around these shapes, creating a scar. That's also how you do tattoos. Like if I wanted to give him like a mark right in the middle, I would mark my character, find the middle, subdivide all this area until I divided to the area that I wanted. Let's say I wanted something right here. And then I can just add whatever I want to in perspective by already knowing all the points I mapped out. Because you subdivide it and you understand a little bit about perspective. Okay? That's how you can make things like saddles as well. You would trace the shape around the shape, around it, going around it, and then adding your depth to your shape. And that's how you come up with saddles. That's how you can come up with clothing. That's how you can come up with straps that go around the character. All that stuff. Any detail that wraps around them as well would be following those same patterns, those same lines. Okay, you'd probably see the other side of the body and a shadow from there. And let's add some color to him. What color should we make our battle elephant right now? Where did I put that marker? Okay. What color should we make Oh, the top hat. The top hat. Let's give him a top hat. The top hats are round. They're normally black. They go up. And they normally have like... There you go. There's your top hat. Turquoise. Turquoise. What color is turquoise? Turquoise. It's like a green, right? Like a green blue. Let me see if I even have that here. I don't think I have that color. This color palette's a little bit limited. So, all right, let's see if we can make some green blue. So we'll grab a little bit of green and a little bit of blue and see if that works. All right, our turquoise. Did that work? Oh, it just muddied it up a little bit. But can we save this? Yes, we can. We're going to grab a color and we're just going to drag that color. Drag it. Watercolor is actually a very forgiving medium. So, and the beauty of it as well is that you don't have to have it be perfect. You know, like you don't like the look of watercolor not being perfect is part of the awesomeness of watercolor. And as you can see, it blends really nicely between tones. All it requires is a tiny bit of water, like color, a little tiny bit of dabbing, like let me see, bloop, bloop, bloop. And then you get a little bit of color and you put it on. Then you grab a little bit of more and then you put it on. And then you spread it. And that's how I use watercolors. That might be like the most kiddish way of using it. I'm sorry, like I'm pretty sure that everybody that actually does watercolor right now is looking at me like, dear God, you are using art, the favorite tool, as like a little watercoloring toy. And yes, I am. I sure am. What you gonna do about it? Nothing. But at some point or another, I should probably understand exactly how to use watercolor appropriately. Like, for example, let me tell you guys a little story of a little bit of shame, a little bit of story time. I can't believe I didn't really understand how to blend just normal colored pencils. You know that little stubby thing, like the little blue thing, or like little like paper thing that you get? It's like the blender. I never understood how to use that shit. Like, I never knew how to use that stupid blender. Like, it made no sense to me. Like, I was like, I would always try to squish the colors into it, and it didn't work. And then like I would try to like like get the colors like mushed together, and then like squish it, and it didn't work. You know why it wasn't working? Because apparently, a solution that you use to blend colored pencils really, really nicely is alcohol. It's just rubbing alcohol with the blender. And that's how you blend it, and that's how it's done. And like someone showed me that, and I was like, what the hell, guys? What the hell? What the hell? Are you kidding me? That's the trick. All my color pencils like stuff would always be all blotchy and like scratchy, and all it would take is just grabbing a little bit of alcohol, dabbing it in the blender thingy, and then just blending it together. It was so easy. It was so easy. Like it made me mad because I hated drawing with colored pencil because I could never get smooth lines. Oh my god. Tom the Great, huh? Okay, so since we did the body in green, we can't draw the rest of the environment that he's in green. So, what color goes well with green? Well, let's try yellow. And then we'll make the background maybe like an orange, and then we will make like a sunset. Right? We don't want to add green on top of green because then it's just going to blend together and it's going to look horrible. So I'm going to give my little dude some grass. We're going to grab a little bit of orange. I'll add a little bit of orange to the sky. We'll blend it all in and let it fade naturally down. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not aiming for perfect. I'm just aiming to get like a feel for a scene. There you go. Something like that. That looks pretty cool. And to top it all off, I'm going to add some foliage. And the foliage, I should probably add it with pen, but I'm going to add some darker tones first with, what color would look good? Let's go with a brown. Why not? So to make trees and like foliage, I learned back in like elementary school when they used to teach us drafting a little bit, because in Mexico they teach you vocational like things back in high school and middle school. They start training you so that you can make a career making a proper living, with actual smart decisions. So they teach you valuable lessons like, how to do electrical work and how to do plumbing, and you choose like a vocation kinda in middle school, and they teach you that. Well, I chose drafting because for some reason I thought that I would enjoy it. Not because I liked art, and not because I was like, oh my god, I'm like gonna be an artist. Like, I didn't even know I was gonna be an artist till college back in like was like 18, 20. So that was not a thought process that I even had in my brain. But I decided to take drafting. It just sounded fun, and they taught me a couple interesting, valuable lessons that I have carried on through my career. One is how to draw plants really easily with watercolor or with markers or with anything. And it's just essentially dabbing and letting the natural drops of the medium create that unevenness, and then just create a random pattern of either dots or random shapes like triangles, circles, and squares. And then just creating random patterns like that throughout the top, and then just letting the little natural water droplets create the texture for you. And it looks pretty nice. if I say so myself. His name is Tom, huh? All right, we'll make him. His name is Tom, and we're gonna draw his name and his tattoo, Tom. Okay, so the last thing that you need to do whenever you're drawing plants is to create branches. Once you have your shapes that you want to have as your foliage, just add some branches here and there, and then you create some very interesting and fun trees. Unfortunately, this is in my sketchbook, which does not get ripped apart, and it does not get, like at all taken apart. I love my sketchbooks more than I love some family members, and I would never, ever, ever let a sketch in here go. But I'm pretty sure that Tom will make it into some sort of animal sketchbook that's going to be coming soon. So you can buy that, and then you'll have Tom forever. All right, so now Tom has his plants. And then one last detail, because I like adding a little bit of whimsicalness to my art, is I'm going to give him a little bird. More like I just like adding a little tiny bit of like elements that will kind of tell a story. Like if my piece does not tell necessarily a story, it kind of like bugs me. It kind of upsets me. So okay, let's move on to the next animal. What's the next animal we should draw? A cheetah. A cheetah. Okay, we promised a cheetah. Let's see if we can draw a cheetah. Um, Cheetahs are very elegant, and I know that they have like a little baby head compared to the rest of their bodies. But they're very elegant, so they have a very slender body shape. Now, I know that they have little baby kitten faces. So that means that they have big foreheads. When a cat looks like a kitten, it's because their foreheads are really big. Uh, let's see. Oh, what kind of hairs do they have? Do they have like muzzles, or do they have the inward face? Oh my god, this is gonna bug me, so it's not gonna look exactly like a cheetah. But it will look close enough. I think the ears are up here, but they go at an angle. Because most cat ears go at an angle. And I know that might be black. Oh! And then they have like hair, obviously. So we'll draw hair. This is the area that I'm not exactly sure, because I know they have slender necks, but I don't know how the neck goes into their bodies. So we're gonna just stylize the living hell out of this guy. I'm going to assume their nose maybe like this. I think so. I think that's how their noses are. And I know everybody that actually knows how to draw them is probably going like, "Oh my god, what are you drawing? That looks like a mongoose." And yes, it does. And I don't blame you for hating me for drawing your favorite animal like this. But I don't care. Oh my god. Okay. I know. Is it? Do they have like a mask? Ah, that doesn't look like a cheetah anymore. Now it looks like a mongoose. Oh, we have now a mongoose. Sorry. We have a Dora the Explorer swiper. making an appearance. Alright, we have officially gone into mongoose cheetah territory. I think that they have their pattern like that. Ugh. Has powerful shoulders. Okay, so we have the neck, and then how do we want to draw the shoulders? How are cat shoulders? Do cat shoulders work the same way as human shoulders? Probably not. You know, I really need to understand a little bit more about like the actual physiology of like that animal anatomy a little bit better now that I'm like realizing this. So I'm going to resort to drawing Zootopia style animals. Boom, now we have a cheetah ninja. What up? What? Oh, by the way, today I was watching a comic story over in YouTube. It's the one where they tell you like the stories of like the comic book stories. And I haven't had a chance to catch up on a lot of stories that I've wanted to learn. And I finally realized I have all the time in the world to do that now. So I decided to watch the Last Ronin, which is the story of the last Ninja Turtle that's alive. And oh dear God, that was so good. So good. I can't believe it took me so long to actually like watch that. Yeah, I'm gonna base it off human anatomy. Sorry. This one is I gotta go in and study how a cheetah is. Now it's gonna look like a Kung Fu Panda character. Cheetah. Can't wait to see how you improve, though. Oh, I tend to absorb information like a sponge. So anytime that I actually focus on learning something, I tend to learn it really, really quickly. Um, I have by no means any special like learning abilities, and I by no means am any like more special than anyone out there that's just dedicated to what they like to do. So I just learned how to teach myself how to do things. That's the only thing that's different between me and a lot of people. I taught myself very early on how I learned, and I am very critical of what I do. Even though I don't mention it on stream, I'm constantly paying attention to the things like right now, like figuring out that my anatomy of felines is a little bit lacking. So I'm going to go to the zoo probably at some point next week and then just go study animals because that's something that I just found out it's a little bit weak on my end, so it needs to be fixed. So I need to just go to the zoo or go online if you don't have access to the zoo and you want to do that too. Just go online and then find drawings and things that have animals that you can't draw and then draw them. Oh my god, I just realized you're on here. You inspired me to start sketching again and taught me so much. Well, that is my goal, so I am very happy to hear that. Any single time that I hear any fun news and happy news from anything that I helped do, it inspires me to keep going. Like, it makes me more happy to share what I share with you guys. And it's nice. I like helping people. I like making people's life easier, and I like making people's life better. So it's a win-win situation. All right, in this case, we have a watercolor marker that I just used, but I want to add a little tiny bit of depth. So I'm going to grab a little bit of orange, and I'm just going to blend it in like as if it was a shadow. I'm going to blend it into the yellow a little bit here and there just so it creates a slight differentiation and it creates a tiny bit more depth. Just a little bit, not too much. You know, you don't want to like make it look like a detail. You just want to make it look like something that's going to break your elements and your shapes a little bit. Okay. What color goes contrasting with yellow? Probably a blue. So let's add a blue kimono to our dude. So yeah, blue. You can just grab from the little pools of water from the other ones and just use that to color the rest. Da, 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 da. You can wait until it dries and then you can add more levels of detail on top of that if you really want it to. So we'll add a little bit of texture to the kimono once this dries. But while that happens, let's add a little bit of a background element. So let's add like a moon. And then we'll add a little bit of blue in the sky. And just the blue's going to look nice against the yellow. And it's going to make her or his face stand out a little bit, creating a focal point. Bam. So now he looks like Sub-Zero. So as you can see, you can create fun animal characters relatively quickly by just adding animal elements to your animal, like to your real life anatomy. So this is a human body with just paws and an animal head. So you can keep it very animalistic. Or you can literally just start creating animals from beanbags. So let's make a couple beanbags. Let's do 2 vertical beanbags and 2 horizontal beanbags. Okay. Let's make these guys, I don't know, a shark, a dolphin. So you guys can see how same elements can be like applied to different things. And in this one, we'll make 2 little bears. Okay, or 2 things with round ears. Now, a very differentiation between a fish like a shark and a dolphin that's a mammal is the way that their shapes of their fins are oriented. For sharks, they're vertical. For whales, they're sideways. Okay, so that same little beanbag, just flipping the fins around, already gave you 2 entire different like animals that you can create. Okay, with the same elements, with the fin, same type of fins. Maybe the shark can have like sharper ones, the dolphin can have softer ones, or the whale in general. The front of the face, if you want to draw a shark more accurately, they have their mouths down here. But if you want to create a really fun, dynamic shark, just give them like a gigantic mouth and really sharp teeth. Right? That's a big element in a shark. Big, gigantic, sharp teeth because they're scary and they're menacing. And let's draw the back fin as well to give them a little depth. There you go. And now we have a fun little shark. Okay. And then for the dolphin, you just you can have that same shape, just round it out, and you have a dolphin. Just have soft, round shapes instead of harsh, sharp lines, and you have a dolphin that's really cute. Okay? Whee! Near the water. So, very similar elements can have dolphins and whales have the same. Yeah, they have the same kind of tail. They have sideways tails. Fish, like, like just normal fish, like angelfish and guppies and everything, they have vertical tails. Whales, like, like Shamu and like killer whales and stuff like that, they have their tails sideways. Yay. Okay. So, whales sideways. Fishies vertical. But, it's just to show you how easy you can draw one or the other with the very basic shape and then just knowing the different like things that make up the animal. In this case, we have a bear. So let's make one like a sun bear. In a sun bear, differentiation of a sun bear is that they have a little black face with a little brown spots on the top of their heads. That's what a brown bear is. Right? So everything is dark, except for their forehead and their bellies. And normally they have like fluffier ears too. Now it kind of looks like a koala too. But now we can make a polar bear. How would we make a polar bear? They normally have like flatter faces. He's mad now. He's gonna be poking the whale. In my belly. But when it comes down to cartoony animals, you can honestly get away with a lot of liberties here. You can honestly come up with a lot of really silly animals without a lot of knowledge of an animal. For example, I just know that koalas have like a really big nose and sideways ears, right? That's pretty much the only elements I know from a koala. So by just drawing those elements really loosely, I can come up with a character very, very quickly. And if I want to make them incredibly cute, just give them a little tiny, little beanbag body. And now you have a little cute little koala. Let's see. What animals are hard to draw that I know how to draw? Okay, let's see. Let's draw some like horses or a giraffe. Let's draw a giraffe. So giraffes have a long neck. They tend to have like a really sharp looking snout, and then they have their big jaw section. Okay? The jaw tends to connect to where? To where the neck muscles connect. Yeah, just like a human. If the ear was here, the back of the jaw, that's where the neck would be. So then the neck is really long, and it comes towards the front of the body. Then we figure out the back of the head, and we follow that same neckline. Okay? Then they have like really big nose, like nostrils, and they have like really big lip parts, like blah. And then depending on what they're doing with their mouths, their tongue is like sticking out like a million feet away from their face. So let's make that happen. That way we can twist the face a little bit and show a little bit of the underside so that we're not drawing something completely in perspective. Like profile drawings are nice, but when somebody just draws complete profile, it like looks horrible. Like it doesn't look like it has depth. It doesn't look like it's going to like move. It doesn't tell a story. So try to avoid drawing either straightforward drawings or straight like profile ones. They just don't look good. And it's not a good habit to get used to drawing something without depth. Okay? So always aim to add a little bit of perspective to your art. In this case, we decided to go with the mouth like that, which they normally twist their mouths a lot too. So I'm going to show the bottom mouth like twisting a little bit and going into showing a little bit of the teeth and a little bit of the tongue. Wow. So the bottom of the mouth carved into the jaw. Let's see. Giraffes have like a little like antenna looking thing. But is it pointing forward or is it pointing backwards? Well, in this case, we have our character looking in this direction. So I'm going to draw my mask so I can mask out exactly the direction the character's looking at. It's going to help me map that out. Right? So now I know that my character is going to be looking kind of like that, maybe even more so to the side. So I know that my eyeball is going to be around here. My cheek is going to be around here. I forget if the antenna thingies are going forward or not. They're not going forward. They're probably going up. So little toughy antenna thingies that they have. I'm going to draw 2 of them. And I'm going to draw a tuft of hair going in the middle. Breaking those 2 elements apart. And also giving myself guidelines for the back of the head. Okay, next I'm going to break up a couple of these lines to make it look like it has hair and not just a big solid shape. And I'm going to give it those big blocky like shapes that giraffes tend to have. They kind of remind me of soccer balls. How they wrap around the shape, around the body. Okay? And I have some right here too. Now we got to decide what kind of eyes we want to give our giraffe. So in this case, giraffes tend to have like very bulgy eyes. So we're going to wrap our eyelids a lot of the way around our sphere to give this the most rounded eye lids ever. We add a shadow there to create more of a depth. And then we're just going to make the character really enjoying his leaves. He's like super happy. Like, oh. And make him super derpy by giving that sideways eye. He's looking at you like, what's up? They normally have a darker part inside right here. And then let's add some color. They tend to be like an orangey color mixed with a little bit of yellow that fades into a tan color in their bellies. And the reason I know this is because I just went to the zoo a couple weeks ago and I drew some. So they're actually really, really fun. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of orange. And we're going to add our darker tone first to the areas that I know tend to have those colorations. Okay. I'm going to grab the color from here and I'm going to drag it to the bottom. The bottom, the belly tends to be a little bit lighter, so I'm not going to put too much color in the inside, because the natural fur pattern tends to be a little bit lighter inside. Just going to drag that color down so it blends out a little bit. Okay. There you go. Now while that dries, I'm going to add a little bit of green to the background so that it looks like it's grass and flowers again. The same way that I did with the other one, I'm going to just grab a tint of green. I'm going to dab it around and allow the little watercolor blotches to create the texture for my plants. So I don't even it out. I just let it be like drippy, and then I just lift and I dip my brush back in to create more little bubbles that will create those plant looking ones. Okay. Gonna do that around the trunk so it looks like there's more depth to it than just the actual tree. So now it's gonna look like there's more behind it. And doing that sparingly with a little bit of negative space can make it really look like there's a lot of plants in there that slowly fade into the background. Okay. The lighter that gets, the farther in the background it's going to look like it is. Because things tend to fade as they go back into a distance. Okay, now we're going to grab some brown. Let's grab some brown. And we're going to add the details on the little blotchies. And just go little by little. If you see that one's too dark, grab from that one and put it on the other. Sometimes you really have to wait until it dries, but you know, most of the time it doesn't take too long. Remember, I'm drawing these from memory, so if they don't look completely accurate, that's perfectly okay. Things don't have to be perfect. They don't have to come out amazing every time. Sometimes just getting in a little bit of practicing, enjoying the fact that you're drawing is all you really need. Like, I love spending my time drawing with you guys. It's amazing. Can you do a monkey or a gorilla? Ooh. Oh, they have ears! Oh my god! How did I miss their ears? Dear God. I am a horrible, horrible artist. Oh my god. Okay, we gotta wait for it to dry a little bit so that I can add some white and see if I can correct that. That's funny. I knew it looked a little bit off. I just couldn't figure out why. And they normally don't have red tongues. They have like a blue tongue. But I forgot about that until I put it down. So I'm going to try to put a little bit of blue to correct that. I'm okay with that color. Let's pick some up. Pick some up onto my finger. All right, there you go. All right, let's see if we can, let's fix this ear. Let's get this going. See, the thing with white pens is that if you don't use them a lot, they tend to dry out really easy. So you tend to have like 20 of them at a time. But when they work wonders. There you go. And then the ears, I think, are a little bit darker, so that works out perfect. Yeah. There you go. All right, so what is next? The gorilla? Do you sell these, and how much do you for the giraffe? I don't sell the drawings in my sketchbook. Unfortunately, that seems to be what everybody wants. But my sketchbook drawings are for me and me alone, and then I just happen to sell them later on when I'm, printing them and like showcasing them, and when I go to conventions and stuff like that. How about a bunny? A bunny. Okay. Bunnies are creepy. Okay? Bunnies are creepy mother uckers. Like, they have like these demonic looking eyes. They always look like they're a demon that's about to like eat you. And then they move their little tiny mouth like, and it's like so not like cute. I don't like rabbits all that much. I think it has something to do with my class guinea pig back in the day, like biting me really, really bad. And after that, nothing fuzzy was like trusted ever again, except for dogs. Dogs will forever be trusted. But bunnies and gerbils and rats and stuff like that, they're thugs. They're thugs without mercy. Where's the money? Get my hoodie. And a hoodie with an action pose with his little bunny feet. Shadow. And his little fuzzy tail. And then he's going to be in an alleyway, of course, because, he's a thug. So let's add an alleyway with a couple bricks. Some trash cans. Some garbage on the floor. Maybe we draw a little bit of the street behind them. Maybe this is also part of the alleyway, so we see maybe like trash can. Maybe a poster. It's peeling off the ground, off the wall. Some pipes. Some more brick. And a little bit of cross-hatching to differentiate the foreground from the background. Just that amount, can differentiate this wall from being separate from the wall behind it. Okay. All right. Very quickly, we came up with a scene. Let's add some color. Let's see this one. Let's play around with not red. No. Let's do blue again. In this case, I'm just going to add a little bit of color to the scene because he is going to be white because he's a bunny rabbit. So I want everything else to have a little bit of color so that he really pops. Okay. And it doesn't take much to add color with watercolor, so that's why you see me like playing with a lot of like just rubbing the brush dry kinda. It's because I'm just trying to spread what is there. Okay, let's add a little bit of an accent color. In this case, let's try this color right here. That kind of looks like a tan. I'm going to add that for the hoodie so that his little hands pop, so that the teeth pop. And we can even give him shoes if you want, like Converse or something. And then you can give him a little bit of shadows. Just to make his eyes pop more. And there you go. You have your you have your rabbit. Hey Rod, could I try redrawing Tom? Absolutely. You can go ahead and draw Tom. I can even set him up as a draw it in your style thing on Instagram tomorrow if you want. That would be pretty interesting. That'd be funny. We shall draw Tom. Let's see. We have a little bit of space for one more. So what do you guys want to learn? I'm going to take a sip of water. So you guys decide and let me know. And meanwhile, I want you guys all to try your hardest to hit this little heart right here because you guys love me and you guys want me to be successful. So you guys hit that little heart right there. Show me you guys can hit it. Boom. Help me be seen by other people. And, you know, that's all you really need to do. Interact with the video and hit that little heart. There, I see it. Almost. So close. So close. A goldfish. Oh my god. A gorilla or a crocodile? Oh, dear God. Okay, I think we got to do both of a goldfish and a crocodile. I think I'm going to skip on the gorilla today. Crocodiles are really fun because they have a very, very long mouth. Right? They have a very long snout. And then their bodies tend to look like a really thick pear-shaped person. Followed by a really awesome tail that normally has a life of its own. So, when you're putting together a character like this, and they live underwater most of the time, so they kind of float there. So you can draw them in any position you want. Actually, they tend to have their faces outside of the water right here. So we'll have that there. Their bodies tend to be coming back this way more so than down, but this is a cartoon, so fuck it. Okay, so we're going to have that. They tend to have really sunken in eyes, so we can draw our eye socket and then sink that baby right in there. They're going to have very big brow muscles because they just have a really big brow muscle. And they have like little divots that go through the back of their head, into the back, into the tail, all the way around to the end of their bodies. Okay? All the way to the end of the tail. You can follow these lines and you just give it like a little crest. That also helps divide the character from the top and the bottom. Now, the bottom teeth tend to extend very far into the back of their heads, and some teeth tend to be poking out half the way through. The bottom jaw tends to be a little bit skinnier. On alligators, on crocodiles, it's a little bit bigger, and it comes down to a big mandible. Like their mandible is actually relatively large. Again, normally crocodiles would go this way, right? But we're drawing one that's just kind of be floating there. So he's going to be floating here with his lemonade. He's going to be sipping his lemonade outside of the water. Okay. So he's going to have his little arms. One arm is going to be grabbing this glass underneath the water. So it's going to be wrapping around. His belly. You can divide the belly of crocodiles by giving them this little belly, like little lines. And that goes along the whole tail. And since it turns around in this direction, you don't see them from this point on. Then you can draw the feet. The feet have really long toes into little claws, which you can simplify by literally just drawing little shapes. The other arm will hold the other side of the drink. Why not? Keep it nice and simple. And then we give plants and stuff like that on the ground so we can ground our character, right? And we'll give him a little hat so he doesn't get sunburned. Give him a little bit of texture to his skin because he is a crocodile, so he does have ridges and he has little dimples and stuff like that. And now we give him some color. Let's give him a little bit of... Well, I guess this guy would be green, wouldn't it? Well, let's give him a darker tone. Ooh, that's dark. Let's lift it. Let's grab a little bit more of it and then just drag it. There you go, that's fine. Let's spread out the color a little bit more. And add little tints. There you go. You have Mr. Crocodile. And you guys wanted a goldfish. Okay, let's draw a goldfish. Is this the best thing I have seen all day? I want to have a long conversation with that alligator. Okay, goldfish. Goldfish are very derpy. I love drawing goldfish with the big bubbly eyes. With little tiny fins on top. With their big, beautiful like fins in the back. And their big clown-like mouths. They always look so derpy, and I love it. And then you just make them orange. You can give them like little spots like koi fish too if you want. It tends to look okay. Because sometimes they do have like the discoloration. But this is how I like drawing my goldfish. I know they look super derpy and they look super weird, but it identifies as a fish and it's gold, so it looks like a goldfish. And I'm okay with that. Let's see. We have space for maybe one more. And I want to draw a better koala because I love koalas and I don't think I did that one justice. So I'm going to draw a koala and a tree. And I'm going to call myself the bad koala and the good koala. So koalas sleep very interesting. They sleep on trees and they sleep because eucalyptus, which is the thing that they normally eat for food, gets them drunk. So they normally tend to like ball up and sleep like what is it, like 16 to 18 hours every day. So they tend to snuggle up on tree branches and they snuggle in to their little arms. And they're just sleeping most of the day. They're adorable little chlamydia-filled animals. Yeah, a bunch of them have chlamydia. They can give you chlamydia. So don't let a koala bite you. It's gonna be his other arm, and then he's gonna be sleeping. And let's give him a little bit of color. So pandas are gray with a little bit more gray and a little bit of gray on top of gray. So I think that's a little way too much black for what I'm trying to do. So I'm going to lift most of it up and then I'm going to spread the rest. And then I'm going to take advantage that those little blotches are there and I'm going to add a little bit more color until I match that and I create shadows with those. There you go. The imperfection that you create sometimes with watercolor ends up looking really nice. Like sometimes it's just like cool to have a little bit of imperfection. Like I don't know, for some reason it just makes like art look real. You know, when something's way too perfect, like it loses an appeal that, and I don't even know how to describe that, but there's like a really strong appeal to me at least when it comes down to drawing loosely and drawing with mistakes and just leaving them in there. Let's add some more plants on top just to complete the scene for the little koala. All right. All right. So we have the good koala and we have the bad koala. So I'm drawing animals in general. I'm not necessarily focusing on a style. I'm just drawing animals. And we have space for one more. One more. And I'm going to draw a little squiddy because I haven't drawn a little squiddy and I love squiddies. And like octopuses and stuff like that. I love drawing this because they have so many little tentacles and arms. And they're the closest thing to aliens that we have. Yeah, octopuses have like some like they're super interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna draw shapes in the background to create the tentacles on it. 7, 8. So now I have 8 appendages on my little octopus. Gonna add some spots. And we'll make them super cute by giving them super shiny eyes. Okay, and now we're gonna give them some color. Let's make this guy, I don't know, pink. Should we make him pink? Let's aim for like a reddish pink, and then give him like a translucent look. Let's see if we can do that. So in order to do that, you need to leave the edges a little bit lighter than the inside. That way you give the illusion of a rim light, or that it's wet. You can also do that with a paint marker afterwards if you want to. And then if you just create elements of color inside, it'll make it look like it's the inside of the character. Like don't get it all the way to the edges. And it starts looking really cool. Now, if you just choose a contrasting color for the background, then you can make it even stand out even more. Let's see. See? Now Mr. Squiddy actually stands out against the page. Ta-da! Could I gift you a certain amount for a dino baby? How about you tune in tomorrow and then I draw dinosaurs for the entirety because I want to go see Jurassic Park. So I probably will see Jurassic Park at some point tomorrow and then we can all draw dinosaurs together tomorrow night. How about that? And then if you want to gift me, you can gift me, but you don't have to. Again, generosity is nice, but only if you can afford it and only if you're willing to. Like, I don't want to have anybody feel like they need to be obligated to gift me or provide me any financial help. I don't do this for the money. I do this to help people out. Okay? So let's recap what we learned today so we can call it a night so that Rod can go to bed. We drew animals. We drew a panda. We drew a pandapus. We talked a little bit about how to put perspective in your scenes. We drew Tom, the very sarcastic green elephant. We drew Mr. Cheetah Mr. Wannabe Cheetah Weasel. We figured out a couple ways to draw really quick animals with beanbags. We drew Mr. Squiddy. We drew a koala. Then we drew a better koala. We drew a giraffe. Then we showed how to draw really quick plants with watercolor. We drew a shamu, a goldfish, a very, very sarcastic, what looks like a very Florida crocodile or alligator, and a badass bunny. A bad bunny indeed. All right. So, thank you all so much. For all of you that do want to support, I do have books for sale. I have Coffee Break Doodles book, Volume 1, and then I have Pinups Volume 1 as well. Both of them are collections of my artwork, which are amazing. And if you get Coffee Break Doodles, you can actually get it printed. I do have those for sale for print. I am funding the Pinups book sale, the printing with the sales from all these digital books. So if you guys do support like that, it helps me be able to bring better products for you guys as well. If you do get anything out of my teachings and you get anything out of what I do, please consider joining my YouTube channel. I want to get to that 100,000 subscribers so that I can get my little plaque, and consider joining my Instagram because that's where I post more often than anywhere else. And you guys can see a lot more updates for the stuff that I do there than anywhere else, really. So that is my home hub, and you guys should go follow me there because it's awesome and you guys love me. Other than that, I don't have much else to say today for you guys. I hope you guys learned a little bit. I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit. And we had 11.4 thousand viewers today. 11.4 thousand people drawing with me. That's insane. That's amazing. That is the biggest sketch night that I've had so far. And, oh, God, that's amazing. I never thought that they would get this big. And I never thought that so many people would tune in. And I never thought that I would be able to reach as many people as I do. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much. You have no idea how much this means to me. My Instagram handle is exactly the same in every single channel. RODGON the Artist. Have a wonderful day. Hit that little heart button for me one more time so that I can go to bed with a smile. Hit it, hit it, hit it. Show me that you love me. And then after that, I will release you off to bed. Have a wonderful, fantastic day. You wonderful, amazing people of TikTok. Thank you for making this my second home. And I hope that you all learned a lot. Again, everything is on YouTube. Go check it out. There's a bunch, it's like over 100 videos for you guys to check out on YouTube. So just go check out YouTube. And I'll see you guys all next time. Toodaloo.